All right, fire 'em up!
We've come full circle. I'm at the point where I have to defend Disney. I don't know if I like that or not. I have a rule when it comes to remakes of films. I don't particularly like movies being remade. If you have a film that's already been made and it's great, you don't need to remake it. But the caveat to that is if a suitable amount of time has gone by, then to have a remake of an older film, I understand it and I'm actually okay with it because sometimes you need to remake films for a newer audience, especially if that suitable amount of time has passed. Most often it's anything between 15 to 20 years because you've gone from the children or the younger folk seeing the film in the first place to now they most likely have children themselves, and now the film is being made for a newer audience. So in the particular case of Lilo and Stitch, the live action being made, I completely understand it and I'm okay with it. Yes, it's Disney and they're doing live actions of their animated films, and that's a whole separate conversation, particularly in this case. But the fact that it's made, I'm just not going to get into the conversation of they shouldn't be doing that in the first place because, like I said, enough time has passed between the original and this. But yeah, that's what we have in front of us. Lilo and Stitch has gone from animation into a live action adaptation, and it's actually really good. And I myself cannot believe I'm actually saying that. If you've seen the original animated version, then going to see this, you're getting the exact same movie. There's all of the major story beats, everything that makes the movie what it was in animation form is right here in the live action form. You have Nani having to take care of Lilo after an accident has taken their parents away from him. She's doing her absolute best to take care of her. Lilo, in her trauma from having lost her parents, she's going through these things. She gets into trouble here and there. She doesn't actually mean it, but she tends to get herself in trouble. And allegory, that is also what Stitch is. Stitch is basically just a monster that was being created, but he doesn't actually want to be a monster. He wants to be loved. He wants a family of its own. And he winds up in the possession of Lilo, trying to hide out for being taken back to where he was from because he's an experiment that should not have been made. And they're trying to jail him and keep him locked up basically for the rest of his life, however long that may be. All of the story beats, every last story beat from beginning to end from the animated version is in this. They didn't skip any. Are there characters missing? Yes, characters are missing, but it doesn't change the story. So the question becomes, do they do a good job of translating the original animated film into this live action? And if we're being honest, the answer is yes. So character wise, no, it's not a one to one. Do they remove a couple of people? Yes, but it is not as deep as even I thought it was going to be. Captain Gantu is not in the film at all. And hearing that before I ever saw the film, it upset me because even though I don't see Gantu as being a villain, them taking him out in this and moving the aggressive nature over to Jumba and having him be the one that's trying to capture Stitch in the first place and it has nothing to do with Gantu in this live action adaptation, I'm okay with it. It still does not change the story beats. It does not change any of the characterizations that we see from the animated version to this. All of those things are still in place. All they did was remove Captain Gantu. Even in the original film, and I've had this discussion before, Gantu is not a villain. He's a police officer tasked to do a job, and he's doing his job. And at the end of the day, removing him and having Jumba do all of the heavy lifting for that particular character in the live action adaptation, it's not really that big a deal. I sat there and watched it, and by the time the film was damn near over, I didn't care Gantu was there or not. And honestly, by the time the film was halfway over, I didn't care. By the time they had gotten past the whole point of Stitch breaking off the ship and running and falling and crash landing on Earth, and you realize, well, Captain Gantu is just not going to be in it. Well, you kind of just don't care in the first place. One major thing that they changed in it was that Pleakley's character is his characterization is still the same from the animated version. He just doesn't do every single thing from the animated version. No, he doesn't do any cross dressing. He does get into trouble and do a lot of silly things, but he's still the same Pleakley from the film that we've seen before. And if I'm being honest, as far as the non-human characters go, I think Jumba is actually my absolute favorite. I like the fact that they made him a bit more menacing and a bit more evil. Like, yes, he's not that in the original film, and I totally get why people don't particularly like that. But for this particular film, you need a villain, and he's actually a villain. He wants to capture Stitch so he can continue his work. That's pretty much the perfect way you can go if you're not going to have Gantu be the de facto bad guy who's consistently trying to catch Stitch. But in the original film, he kind of goes through these conflicted feelings by the entire run of the movie, just like he does in the original. But in the end, he still wants to just capture Stitch and take him back and do his own thing with him, and that's okay. And although Zach Galifianakis and Billy Magnuson don't do the original voices of the characters, they do a damn good job of translating the emotion and the personalities from the original film to this as they play Jumba and Pleakley respectively. So as far as they go, hey, kudos to them. And I have to admit, I loved Hannah Waddingham as the queen who sent Jumba and Pleakley to capture Stitch in the first place. She sounded so much like the original. I thought it was the original voice actress from the film, but it's not. It's Hannah Waddingham, and I love her anyway from Ted Lasso. So the fact that she does it and she is almost exactly like the original voice actress. Hey, as far as those three go, the non-human characters for me are just two thumbs up. But for this film, it's the human cast that really makes all of the difference. So Sydney Agodong plays Nani, and Maya Kialoha. I hope I pronounced that correctly. I probably have a feeling that I butchered that, but she plays Lilo. And for them together, their dynamic is very much like the original animated films. So anybody has a problem with that, I'm trying to figure out what they were looking at versus what I was looking at. I love to see Tia Carrera in this one, who played the social worker. I thought she was really good. Courtney B. Vance showing up as Cobra Bubbles. I wonder why they didn't get Ving Rhames. I know Ving Rhames was working on a couple of other films, with especially with Mission Impossible Final Reckoning coming out, and he is in that one. I wonder if maybe it was a scheduling conflict, but I wonder why. I'm still wondering why they got Courtney B. Vance versus just having Ving Rhames come and do it. But Courtney B. Vance, still really good. The entire cast, human cast versus the animated cast, they're all very good. All of the emotion, everything that goes from one thing from the animated film to this one is just spot on. It's not so much different from the original where so many people don't like it or there's all this criticism for it. I don't understand it myself personally. Even Kaipo Dudoit, who plays David, and Amy Hill, who plays the neighbor, I forget the character's name, but even they are very much they fit into this world that they inhabit. Kaipo Dudoit's version of David is awkward around Nani, and you can tell that he loves her and is trying his best to, get that across to her without coming out and saying it, because he's kind of scared to say it out loud from fear of rejection. That's in the film. It's right there in front of you from the original to this, and that doesn't change. And I'm still trying to figure out why people don't like him as well. And Amy Hill, who's great in everything I've ever seen her in, she plays a great version of just somebody who's a neighbor, but still very close to them, like they are family, which is very deep rooted in how Native Hawaiian culture is. When you're that close, you know somebody for so long, you pretty much become family. But I love the fact that she's this constant support system, and even though she doesn't have the money to help Nani, she's always there, like, hey, you can do anything, don't worry about it, it'll be all right. I love the fact that at the end of the film, all the humans are the ones that band together to fix everything. It's not none of the aliens. Just the aliens leave Stitch. Pleakley winds up sitting there with Cobra Bubbles and looking over it just like he does in the original film. I think maybe it's just little ticky-tack things that they've changed throughout the film people don't particularly like. None of it's so far changed that it distracts from this one. And I think the smaller things that they did change kind of in the long run just don't matter whatsoever. I mean, yes, at the end of the film, Nani has to give up Lilo for adoption, but it's not like she went anywhere. They're still in their home that's been rebuilt, just like in the original film. David and Amy Hill's character are now taking care of Lilo while Nani goes off to college. That's the one thing I didn't understand. Literally, if she's studying marine biology, why didn't she just stay in Hawaii? Because the best one in our country to study marine biology actually is in Hawaii. But that's a completely separate story. She went to study in San Diego, so it's not like she's that far away. Plus, Nani has the portal gun, so she can jump back and forth from the mainland home, which we actually see her do at the end of the movie. Slight spoiler, but hey, you kind of figured out what's coming. There's nothing wrong with it. I don't particularly like that ending. I just kind of wanted them to stick with, hey, everybody moves into the house. Cobra kind of worked out this thing so Stitch could stay on them. But they kind of do that and they add on this thing where Nani gets to go off to college, live part of her dream, and then she's going to wind up coming back and still having custody of Lilo, which can lead into a second movie, which we had a second animated movie. So they may just do another second live action movie. Considering how much money that this movie has made already, I can absolutely see them doing a second live action movie. So the ending itself, while yes, it's a big departure from the animated version, still not that bad. Overall, while I can understand the being upset with some of the changes, especially the ending of the film with Nani actually giving Lilo up for adoption, even though she particularly didn't, even though she necessarily didn't even go anywhere, I understand why most people would get upset about these changes. But overall, I would say 95% of the original movie is in the live action remake. And that's more than we've ever gotten. And yes, I get it. It is very, very easy to hate on the fact that Disney, they're doing all of these live action adaptations. But for the first time out of any of the live action adaptations that they've done so far, I can actually say that they've done a good job with this one. This amount of translation from the animated original to the live action adaptation, this is a good thing. If they're going to do live action adaptations going forward, and most likely they're going to, this is the way to go. Yes, the only live action adaptation that I've actually truly liked that they've done so far up until this was Aladdin, but this one trumps even that one. This is a good movie, even standalone. Just say you personally have never seen the original animated film, and you're going to go watch this one. This would become your standard version without ever seeing that one, and it still would be okay. There's not so many changes where the original story, if you went back and saw it after seeing this one, it's like, hey, oh, they butchered it. No, this isn't Snow White. This is a really good adaptation, even in its own merits. This is a really good movie. And I still, to myself, cannot believe that I'm actually saying that. But I am. And if anybody has a problem with it, I honestly believe it's just a personal choice. And that's okay. If your personal choice is to adore and love the original animated film, do that. But in this one particular case, you don't have to hate on the live action adaptation because they actually do a good job. So for me, it was easy to score this movie 8 out of 10. Now, honestly, I wouldn't. This doesn't even have to be as good as the original animated film, and I'm not going to score it as high as the original animated film because I'm more personally emotionally invested in the animated film versus this one, and that's okay. That's me. But I still sat there with my kids, with my wife, and enjoyed this film. Anybody who goes and see it, I guarantee you, if you just watch it and judge it on its own merits, you can see that this is a good movie if you're going to be honest about it. So that's my review of the new Lilo and Stitch live action adaptation. You tell me what you thought about it down in the comments. If you're waffling back and forth whether you're going to go see it or not, trust me, take my advice, go see it. You'll enjoy it. That's all we got today for this video, and I'll see you in the next one. God bless. I love you, and peace. See you next time.